Hey everybody, Gene here. I just want to pop on for a moment here at the beginning and let everybody know that we had an audio. So this morning when we were recording this thing, we had this problem where we had this loud static cutting in over. We were a few minutes into recording the show, and this loud static kept coming the over the audio where we couldn't hear each other, or I couldn't hear the other two guys. And so we couldn't pinpoint where it was coming from. So everybody had to reboot their computers and we had to start the show over. And apparently, when I rebooted my computer, for some reason, StreamYard switched from my microphone to using the webcam's microphone. Well, in my headset, I sounded just the same. I didn't notice anything, and nobody else bothered to tell me that was on the show, hey, you sound weird. You sound muffled. So we recorded this whole episode, including the post show. And when I got done and went to edit it, I realized, like, why do I sound terrible? Like, why can you not hear me? And I realized, I go back and look at the settings, and StreamYard had, for the first time ever, unbeknownst to me, had switched my mic to the webcam instead of the microphone you hear me coming through now. So you can hear me through the show. I'm not really hard to hear. It's just not as clear as I sound right now. It's not what you're used to hearing. I do apologize. We can't reshoot this whole 90-minute show for, just for that. If you couldn't hear me or there was some big issue, maybe we would have to, but it's tough enough wrangling everybody up for, an hour and a half, 2 hours every week. So I just want to acknowledge it here on the front end on both the audio and video versions that, yes, I do sound weird. I don't sound like I normally sound because for some reason, StreamYard decided to switch to the webcam mic instead of the regular mic. But hopefully it does not hinder your enjoyment of the show because this is a pretty fun episode. There's some pretty interesting things that we have some fun talking about. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll be back to normal on the next one. So right now, let's get to this week's episode of the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. And as always, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and your feedback is greatly appreciated. Hey everybody, welcome once again to the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. I'm your host, Gene Jackson, coming to you live from the Retro Wrestling Archive in Gadsden, Alabama, along with producer Smokey behind the scenes, pushing all the buttons and making things happen. And speaking of making things happen, right now we are going to be joined by my first co-host. He is the prominent Christopher Honeylove tribute artist in the continental United States. He's your friend and mine. He's Josh Briley of P3 Radio. Josh, how's it going this morning, man?
Oh, Mr. Jackson. Oh, Mr. Jackson. You know, I wanted to have a big black box to pop out of.
Oh.
Opposed to popping in one. But that's a whole nother story, honey. But we'll see about that further into the show. But I'm doing great, Gene. How about you?
Well, this morning I've been on a run of good luck lately, and I feel like Friday the 13th took a couple of days to kick in or something. Everything is going wrong this morning, from getting breakfast to this is peek behind the curtain. This is the second take of starting this show, as I had a big audio kerfluffle there at the beginning. So I don't know, man. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna stay positive because I'm excited about this show. There's some fun stuff on this show. We're a little clip heavy this week, but there's a lot of things we want to see. Plus, we're going to get to this guy later on. We'll talk about it when we get there. But before we get too far into it, we've got to bring on our third host, or our second co-host. I don't know what the proper terminology is. Maybe he'll correct me when he comes on. But right now, let's welcome him. He is the owner, founder, and chairman of STSpod.club, and he's Jonesboro, Arkansas's baby boy. Hey, that's the one upside to redoing this. I got it right this time. Here he is, BT, Brian
Oh,
Trample, what's
yeah,
up?
baby. Hey, y'all talking about them big black boxes, boy. Woo!
Calm down, BT.
Dirty black box. What? Wait. Hey, it's my best friend Jimmy, my favorite host of P3 Radio. Get Buck over here, brought to you by Jolly Roll Furniture and Spaghetti Warehouse. You guys know where they're at. And as always, I got to recommend that lasagna. I had a mistake last week on the show, and I'm the only one that would notice it. But I said I graduated from high school in 1991. That was actually graduating from college in 1991. I did the 6-year plan to get a 4-year degree, which included lots of drinking and eating and drinking. I did a lot of that during that 6 years. So just want to put over real quick, Jeff Van Camp. It's all about Memphis, but he does talk about Continental also. But that interview that you and Rob did, excellent interview. A lot of stuff I did not know about Jeff Van Camp. And I was a huge Humongous fan, no matter who was doing the gimmick, except for the guy that was doing the gimmick last week and this week. So, but yeah, thumbs up to you two guys. Really good interview.
Thanks, man. I guess you could say you were a humongous fan, right? I know that was kind of redundant.
I don't get it.
You usually don't, from what I hear, but
hey, you heard wrong.
Just kidding. I know it's the weekend, and you get plenty on the weekend because it's not. Never mind.
All right. Yeah, how about that show? USWA.
Yeah, producer Smokey did some fact checking during the week, and he was getting ready to come on here and call you out about the graduation thing. So I'm glad you cleared that up.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah. All right,
put the hammer down on you. But no, I'm glad you enjoyed the Jeff Van Camp interview. We had a lot of fun doing that interview. Jeff's just the nicest freaking guy in the world, man. Just super nice guy. And another super nice guy, an interview I'm proud of, I'm looking forward to everybody seeing this week, is Max Payne. I sat down with him Thursday night, and man, what an interesting guy. There's still plenty more we can talk about in the future, but
I took
he actually goes into detail about this Steve Miller story that I've heard him allude to in other interviews. I never actually heard the whole story. And he sent me the clip from the Jimmy Kimmel show where Steve Miller backs up everything he tells in this story.
Oh, wow.
He backs it up. So
I'm excited about pictures of him during, I think it was his first week in the territory. He was real friendly, shook my hand, and I took promo shots of him. So he was super nice to me.
Dude, I thought he was back then, I thought he was like some local guy that started up around Memphis and Nashville. And then to find out that he's actually started and trained in New Japan in the dojo alongside Chris Benoit, and they were like good buddies and everything. That's a lot of interesting stuff to hear about too, because he starts out in the New Japan dojo, then immediately goes to Memphis. And those guys are like, oh my God, dude, where did you come from? Like, you're killing us in here. So look for that this coming week. Well, actually, by the time this drops on Wednesday, that will already be out. It will have come out on Tuesday. So make sure you check it out. But man, a lot to cover here on this week's USWA episode. So let's get right into that. Let me pull my notes up here so we don't miss anything. It's the August 24th, 1991 edition of USWA Championship Wrestling. Dave Brown and Michael St. John are both here. They talk about there's a Texas title situation involving Dr. Tom Prichard. Handsome Jimmy is going to be appearing live.
Mercy, Daddy, mercy.
Just a moment. Thankfully, they haven't had to split the team. That's right. The World Tag Team Champions Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller are going to be here. Bill Dundee and Danny Davis are continuing to have their issues. Humongous will be appearing in the studio, and oh boy, I can't wait till we get to that. We talked about that at length last week. We talked about how crazy it was to show a Sid promo video in between two different appearances by this guy. The response from the announcers during this is, oh my, all right, so I'm not going to tease it anymore. Just wait till we get there. But right now, Handsome Jimmy is going to invade the studio. And do me a favor, if you're watching this on video, and if you're not, get on YouTube and watch this. Keep your eye on Dave Brown during this whole interaction here.
Hey, that's right there. Handsome Jimmy Valiant, the Boogie Woogie Man, the boy from New York City himself, greeting the fans, and this may take a while because I think everybody in here, everybody's a fan of Handsome Jimmy Valiant. Hey, borrowing somebody's hat while he's over there. This man, boy, when he comes in, the energy level in the building immediately goes up.
I think he puts a smile on everybody's face.
Look at that. Climbing into the crowd there. Jimmy Valiant. Oh, my goodness. Well, his opponent, Chris Prichard, not too happy with the situation.
I tell you, he is legendary. And what you're seeing right now is part of the legend.
No doubt about it. Come to party, the tattoo says. Oh, come to Papa, the tattoo says. All right. Well, handsome Jimmy there again. He's greeting the fans all the way around the ring.
Hard to keep up with it.
Oh, my. He's borrowing everybody's hat. He's gonna have a collection by the time he gets to the ring here. All right. Oh, Jimmy. Look at man. That's some Jimmy feels good today, man. I want to tell my people, my brothers and sisters, you know something, Daddy? My grandma lives right here, baby. And I'll say hello, Grandma Valiant. Grandma, keep them biscuits, hot cornbread. Your boy's coming home, baby. Woo, that's what you say. One short thing, Dave Brown. One short thing. How you doing, Mike? One short thing, baby. And that's this. Eric Embry, don't you never pull my lever. Yeah. Yes, sir. Glad to ring the bell. Handsome Jimmy Valiant against Chris Prichard. And here is Michael St. John. Michael, good luck.
Boy, thank you, Dave. I don't know if I can follow that. Handsome Jimmy going right to work on Chris Prichard. Drops that elbow a couple of times. Referee Paul Neighbors. And he's got him. 1, 2, 3. Quick work for the boogie woogie man. Handsome Jimmy Valiant. There's a kiss for the referee. And handsome Jimmy turning it on here today.
Boy, it didn't take him long. Handsome Jimmy Valiant. It took him longer to get to the ring by far than it did for the match right there.
Turning it on, what he said. All I could think of was Meemaw. I was like, yeah, he turned it on all right. He turned it on with Meemaw. And if you show this clip to somebody that's not a wrestling fan, the first thing they say is he gay? Is that old man gay? Why is he kissing everybody? So, yeah, there you go. I'm sorry. I had to interrupt on that one.
No, you're good. 1991 was a very different time. When you look at this through 2026 eyes, I mean, the potential mouth raping of everyone in the studio would be, I mean, my God, today that would be just an absolute, act of terrorism at this point,
Especially after the COVID, everybody had to
yeah.
It's horrible now. So
I love that Dave pointed out after the match that the entrance and everything took 3 times as long as the actual match did. Thank God, though. But did you really want to see Jimmy Valiant try to have a match with Chris Prichard, of all people? But man, we haven't really. I went ahead and just left everything in with this for the most part because this is our first time in the entire run of doing these retro USWA shows that we've really seen Jimmy Valiant here in the studio. So I kind of want to let everybody get the experience, and also wanted to point out, now I heard Scott Bowden say in an interview recently, I mean, he didn't do it recently, obviously, bless his heart, he's no longer with us, but I heard it recently about how much Dave Brown did not enjoy this whole, kissing bit and all that. And boy, you can take a look. So here's Michael St. John getting his. He's leaned back. He's kind of into it, I think. He's not hating it.
Time of his fucking life.
Exactly. He was hoping Curtis Thompson would have done this, but Jimmy Valiant will do, But look at Dave. He is duck covering and holding like this is like in grade school when you had to go out and take cover from a potential tornado. I mean, look at it. He's bent down over the desk, and Jimmy's going in for it,
I envision this like Dave is George St. Pierre, and that's BJ Penn trying to sink the sleeper in. Dave has got that elite level reaction. He just like flattened. He's not taking the sugar.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, you've both seen this video at least more than once now. And I watched, this is like my 4th time seeing it. I tried to keep this in mind. What what aspect do you think bothered Dave more? The simulated kiss that we all know is a work, or him getting a stranger's hat shoved on the top of his head? Because to me, he looked more uncomfortable in that stranger's hat on his head than he did with Jimmy fake kissing him. What do you guys think about that? Because Dave strikes me as kind of a germaphobe type.
Well, I mean, yeah, the whole weatherman thing, you got to have your hair looking on point and all that.
That's
Like,
what
I
was
could
thinking.
see that he didn't want to get it messed up. And, Jimmy had literally just stolen two people's hats, and he, he didn't want to be an accessory. But, I think, I forget who it was, but I've heard it somebody say in an interview that, like, maybe half of the Jimmy Valiant kisses were shoots, and then other ones he would just work. So maybe Dave knew that, and he also he didn't want to chance that, but he also didn't want to chance getting his oil checked, as Jimmy was known to do as well.
If you look at the placement of his hands, I think that Michael St. John one might have been a shoot, because it ain't really over his mouth. That's why he normally turns his back to the camera, but we were right there in full view. I think.
Oh yeah, that hand was holding the head up.
Yeah, he was holding his chin in place. It wasn't covering anything. So
I agree with Josh. I really think it was more of a hair thing than it was anything. I think, and it's also that I'm a weatherman. I'm a star on TV. Don't fuck with my hair. Don't kiss me. Don't do anything, kind of thing. I think that's where it is. And we've seen the ornery Dave Brown the last couple of weeks anyway, Darren Dundee and Davis. So.
And you better not check my oil in there. Have some Jimbo.
And you said something, Gene, that is hilarious, that they said the entrance lasts longer than a match. Me and you've been in the same dressing room before. I think you were there that day when in Gibson, Valiant went around the ring during the whole entrance of that song, got in the ring, and the main event match was over like in a minute and a half. But he spent the whole time going around the ring with the 3-something minute song, New York City kind of thing.
It's very true. Now, another thing that struck me about this is I have probably in my lifetime, I mean, I've seen hundreds of Jimmy Valiant promos. Josh, I know you've seen your share, and BT, I know you've seen more than either one of us.
Huge Valiant fan.
I have never heard him say the line, "Don't you never pull my lever." Do you remember hearing that before?
No.
This is the only one, and legendary. Like, it's so simple, so quick, so Jimmy Valiant.
I would like to think I'm going to store that in my database of lines back here and be able to pull that out on somebody at some point. Because, but the "never lever" is very poetic. I like that. So, from there, we see footage from last week when Valiant took on Eric Embry, and in the footage, we see Valiant, gets the better of Embry, and then Embry a chain gets involved, and Valiant ends up wrapping the chain around his fist. He hits Embry with it, lays him out. Dr. Tom runs in, they attack Valiant, they double team Valiant, and finally here comes the dirty white boy in there, injured knee and all. And it's just a wild melee, and that brings Eric Embry out. And I don't have a clip of it, but here's a look of his face during this promo, so you can kind of tell where he's at here. He's not happy, obviously, and he says that footage did not reflect what really happened. He said before that he had beat Valiant all over the arena. Valiant had begged him to stop. He talked shit about Valiant and his grandmother. And promises when he faces Valiant one-on-one, he will give him a Texas whooping. So, like I said, I didn't clip this one. We will hear a little bit from Embry, and then we get to see highlights of this whole Embry, Dirty White Boy, Prichard, this Texas Dirty White Girl feud. There, we see a few clips in a row, and then we get the Dirty White Boy out here. And this is a whole kind of a long thing. I clipped it up pretty good. It's not a real long video, but there's some things here I think we should see. So let's check this out real quick.
Good to see you moving well, Tony.
Well, the doctors hadn't released me yet, but everybody knows how doctors are. If there's any little twinge or anything, they don't want to release you because they don't want to be responsible.
No, I don't want to get you hurt.
Yeah, well, so I know my own body. I know when I'm able to go, and I know when I'm not, and I'm saying right now I'm able to go, and that's the reason I talked to an attorney. And right here, Eddie Marlin, this right here is a waiver for Eddie Marlin, the USWA, even you, Dave. It don't matter. Anybody, I'm coming back for one person only, and that's Eric Embry.
Interviewer. I thought I got rid of you. I got rid of your old tramp that you call your old lady. No, it's real simple, man. We don't have to wait for Eddie Marlin. You're here. I'm here. There's a ring. Let's do it right now.
From behind, Dave.
Got him from behind. As Tony turned his back to go to the ring, he was taking off his shirt to climb into the ring, and Embry then nails him.
Got him with that chair, too.
Yeah, boy, this Embry, I tell you what. The challenge was made. Tony says, fine, let's go to the ring. Oh, Embry, run into the ring.
Here comes Prichard.
Tom Prichard joins. It's 2 against 1 now as Tony Anthony, the dirty white boy, being hammered by both Prichard and Eric Embry.
And again, Dave, anytime you see one, we see both of them.
Oh, the Boogie Woogie Man has just entered the ring with a waste can.
Handsome Jimmy just leveled Prichard with that trash bucket, and he's going to work on Embry. Prichard knocked silly with that trash can. Handsome Jimmy throwing that chair, coming to the aid of Tony Anthony, and not a moment too soon, Dave.
Boy, that got rid of Embry and Prichard. Let's take a break. We'll be back after this.
Jimmy Valiant had such a unique way of throwing a punch, like that rolling
Yep.
thing he did with his shoulder there. But so Dirty White Boy comes out. He doesn't have the brace on his leg anymore, but he's not cleared by his doctors. But he has signed a waiver for the USWA, for Eddie Marlin, even for Dave Brown. I guess reference to Dave being the representative of the TV station, perhaps. And he wants to have this match with Embry. And then, of course, Tom Prichard comes out. He nearly eats shit face first because the chair's under his feet and he slides. He has to regain his balance to get up, and they beat down on Tony Anthony. Then classic USWA Memphis style where they just look around the back and there's not a lot to choose from. Surprisingly, Handsome Jimmy didn't grab the tea canister. He grabbed a wastebasket and come in the ring. And it wasn't like a big garbage can like New Jack. It was clearly like a little wastebasket that was sitting next to someone's desk in the news studio. It's going to have a head print in it on Monday when they get to work. And they're like, what happened to my trash can?
That's like one that you have next to the toilet in the office. I pictured him. He was taking a shit, and they were like, "Jimmy, it's time to go out." And oh shit! And he grabs that one.
Mercy. He was like, "Why is there bloody tampons in the ring?" Oh, brother, I got that from the restroom. Ladies' restroom, actually. Mercy.
How old was Jimmy during this time? He was.
Oh God.
We'd have to go back and look, but really skinny.
I mean, you'd have to cut him open and count the rings, I guess. But
yeah, but man, I love Valiant. I just love this. Loved every part of it. It's fun for me.
It is. If you take your Memphis nostalgic goggles off, though, and like you said earlier, if you just look at it as a non-Memphis fan, if you sent them any of these Jimmy Valiant clips today, they would not get it.
They wouldn't get it.
If you hadn't already gotten locked into Jimmy years ago, if this was your first like if you're a new fan, you just started watching wrestling, and this guy comes out and everybody's losing their mind, you're like, wait, what? Why is everybody psyched about ZZ Top hitting the ring here?
It's like the Rough House Fargo syndrome. It's like,
yes.
Why? Anybody visiting would be like, what the fuck is this? But
yeah,
you
got to take you completely out of it.
Yeah,
because I mean, you've seen Embry involved in some pretty heavy duty stuff, and prior to this, and now he's selling for this feeble looking old man, and they're getting nothing in on him. They're beating the shit out of Tony Anthony, but as soon as Jimmy Valiant comes, they're slipping and falling and running the hell away. It's.
Can I also note? What a T-shirt on Tony Anthony, right? Best of the breed, Harley Davidson with the eagle coming out of the flag, dude. That no fucking sleeves on it. That was peak 91.
Oh yeah.
He was looking hard as fuck out here, dude. He was ready to throw down. I think I said this last week, but it just keeps reminding me every week, and I keep showing these promos. Like, I did not remember that Dirty White Boy made this good of a baby face. Like, I knew he was a great heel, and I more remember his heel work in Continental than anything. But he's actually, even just like that shirt, like, he's just a really strong, believable baby face if he has some good heels to go against who have some heat. And good Lord, Embry and Prichard definitely have heat. No Dirty White Girl this week, so that was disappointing.
She lost she was loser leave town, right?
Yeah,
she had to stay at Granny's house in Birmingham.
Yeah.
She's in the truck, but don't tell nobody. So next match, we've got Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller, the tag team champions, going against the Scorpions, who apparently are associated with Honey Love now. So I don't know. Maybe they'll start getting a little more love, if you know what I mean.
No, I bet it was one of those situations. Pull this big old box out here, honey.
Yeah.
And I'll put you on the main event in the tent show or some shit. You're going to be my guys. And then they were waiting, after Bert and the Dragon Master's pulling off at the end of the show. I see him chasing the van or whatever Bert was driving. He totally works them.
Prichard's in the corner. What's the matter, Bert? You can't handle a big black box. I don't think that's funny, Tom. Anyway, so the tag champs are out here. They didn't have to split the team last week. Thank God. I didn't clip this because, it's like every other Robert Fuller and Jeff Jarrett match we've watched for the most part.
He put that thing on him.
Later.
That's what he did.
Well,
he put that thing on him a couple times.
And ironically, look who comes out next after Robert Fuller's out here putting that thing on people. Well, next up, here he is. This is the big segment we were waiting for. We heard him. He was kind of the voice of God last week as Lawler's out there. His voice comes over the studio speakers. Lawler didn't know where he was. Steve asked. He's like looking around, and Dave's looking around. Like, come on, Dave. If anybody knows how this works, it's you. Like, nobody's hiding from you in the studio. But they're like, we don't know where he's at. We just heard his voice. But here, he's here. He's got a big black box, and he's going to unbox it for you right here. I put all this in. I didn't even cut anything. Most of these I've been clipping up. This one I gave it in all its glory because I know we've been waiting. We're 8 months into 1991, and finally, Bert Prentice returns, but not as Bert Prentice, honey.
It's Christopher Honey Love being assisted by the Scorpions. What in the world is this, Michael, that they're bringing out here? This big, huge crate on rollers that they're bringing out here. Christopher Love, Honey Love, with 43 rings on his fingers. What are you doing here?
You know, Davey, the box isn't important right now. What I'm going to give the people is a little education in professional wrestling, honey. Now, no, you people mind your own business and shut up while I'm out here. You can talk while everyone else out here. You will shut up while I'm out here. And I'm here, I'll kick you all out of here. Now, there's a punk running around the world named Jerry Lawler. Now, last week I told the people and I told the truth. I have never told a lie in my life, honey, and I'm not going to start now. Jerry Lawler, you are a painful disgrace to professional wrestling. Because you are not a box office draw, the AWA World Class and who knows how many other promotions are out of business. Well, honey, I am the savior of the USWA. I'm going to make sure. You know, Eddie Marlin is a dear, dear friend of mine, and I have offered my services to Mr. Marlin to be a consultant. And the first thing that I've told him is we must get rid of Jerry Lawler. So, Jerry Lawler, what I'm doing, I'm giving you a 2-week notice today. You have 2 weeks left of employment with the USWA, and I'm personally firing you because the box office receipts are going down all over the USWA. I'm here, they're going to go up, and I'm sure not going to let that punk take the credit.
Well, you're here, but I don't think you have the authority to fire Jerry Lawler.
Oh, yes, I do. Ask Eddie Marlin, I do. And Jerry Lawler, you just got your 2-week notice, honey. Now let's go to the box, if you will.
All right, what's in the box here?
The people love me so much. What's in this box? Jerry Lawler, if you decide that you don't want to quit, this is what's going to take you out of the territory. Honey. Up. And
the Dragon Master.
This is the Dragon Master, honey. Come on out.
I don't know. Just leave him in there. If you don't.
No, he's going to come out. Step on out of here. And you know why I'm going to have him step out? Take your time. This is my television show now, honey. Step on out. The reason I want him out here, come on over here, Dragon Master. The reason I want him out here, how many times have you heard professional wrestling organizations around the world say, we have a 7-foot giant, we have a 8-foot giant, and you get to the arena and he's 5'10"? Well, honey, this man is 7'3", and Jerry Lawler, this is a man you can't beat. Take off the mask. Now people are saying, why do you got that goofy hood on him? Let me tell you something, honey. Look at this, Jerry Lawler. You're going to dream this. This is your worst nightmare, honey. This man is legitimately 7'3". And you know what, Jerry Lawler? You're going around the world saying, who is he? Honey, you know who he is. He's an international star, honey. But no way am I going to let you study him. If you find out who he was, obviously he'd know his weaknesses. Every man has them except me, honey. Nobody. I'm going to keep the mask on this giant. This is a giant. Davey, stand next to him. 7'3". Christopher Love tells the truth. Jerry Lawler, you're out of here.
Oh, my goodness.
Can you imagine being 7 foot tall and trying to step out of that big box, basically blindfolded? You know he couldn't see a damn thing with that stupid dragon head on.
That's why
I
it
felt
was
bad for the guy.
That's why Bert was guiding him with his voice. Up. And he was just he had to follow the noise like a
come out, honey. Come out. I'm sure he said that to plenty of people. Come on out, honey.
I love that he said every man has a weakness except for me.
Yeah.
And I immediately thought of 2 or 3, that would make him go in a tizzy just right there.
Make him weak in the knees. Yeah, man.
I want to fall to his knees, honey.
Did he say a juicy mask? Is that what he said?
Goofy mask.
Goofy man. I thought he said juicy. I was like, I wrote down juicy a couple of times.
What was ironic about it? He's like, take that goofy mask off. And then he takes that mask off to reveal an even goofier mask.
You're going to dream about that, honey. Like, yeah, it was underwhelming to what he pulls off to what he exposes. I got flashbacks whenever Christopher says, you ever notice how a lot of promotions say they got a giant and he comes out and he's 5'10"? That's literally what happened last week with Humongous.
Yes.
I mean, it was just a regular guy. It's almost like he was taking a shot immediately.
Because he's taking a shot at the promotion he's currently working for, and we're about to address that later in the show. But yeah, and the funny thing to me is, he's like, this is a big star, someone you know, but I'm not going to reveal. Well, in 1991, an over 7 foot tall, who would that be implying? Andre, Giant Baba? Like, there's not many over 7 foot tall wrestlers that guy with his build could have been. And I did as much searching as I could during the week. The only thing I can find is this guy's name is allegedly Gary Rich. And he also did some work under the name Gary Masters. I can't find any results of him work anywhere as Gary Masters.
I can't either. Yeah, I did the same thing you did. So, yeah.
So, I don't know. But I looked through the next 3 or 4 observers and torches. They didn't have any idea who this was. They didn't have any idea who the other guy was. We'll talk about it here in a little bit as well. So, that's him. The Dragon Master is here, and Honey Love, I don't know. Honey Love is exactly like Bert Prentice, except he just very abruptly shoehorns in honey, and it's so overly exaggerated. I guess that's the whole gimmick.
With his 43 rings, I love how Dave critiqued his rings, opposed to Reggie B. Fine out there wearing 10 necklaces. Didn't say shit about that.
If I could go back and book something like a little dream, maybe just a 2-week scenario, if Reggie B and Christopher Love could have got crossed just for a couple of weeks just to hear them rip on each other, I can only imagine some of the stuff that would have got said. It would have been hilarious from both sides, I'm sure. But
Or, because like fur coats and like different wardrobes has been like involved in matches in the past with Reggie. Like it could be Bert's jewelry versus Reggie's jewelry and fur coat. And then Awesome Kong could have won and Reggie would have got all of Bert's rings and he would come out looking like a goddamn Galaxian or some shit.
I pity the fool. Yeah, that could have been fun. I can see like Bert rubbing up on that fur coat and Reggie be like, "Hey now, hold up now." But anyway, we won't speculate on what would have got said there because we'll get in trouble. But next up, we have the Texas title situation. Rockin Randy's in the ring waiting to get his Texas title shot. Dr. Tom comes out with a huge ice pack on his head. And we've got to watch some of this just to get to the payoff of what happens with Miss Texas here. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. We're not gonna watch this whole thing, but let's some of this we gotta see.
What is this with Prichard? Oh, here comes the Texas champion. Looks like he's got the world's biggest ice pack on the side of his head. And I notice he doesn't have the belt. Where's the belt? You're defending a title match here today.
It ought to be some kind of law. It ought to be outlawed to have some kind of maniac running around a TV studio with tattoos all over his body and to be able to come out here and hit somebody with a garbage can.
Randy, did you hear what he said?
What do you mean you can't defend this title?
I mean, my head hurts. I mean, I got hit by a trash can. I cannot defend the Texas Championship.
Look, man, I'm not a Jerry Lawler or Bill Dundee. These title shots don't grow on trees for me. I don't get one once a month. I've worked a long, hard 3 years for this day. This is supposed to be my day, and I'm ready. Now, I know this. There's a rule in the USWA. If you can't defend that title, I can win it on default. And I'll tell you, man, I've worked long and hard, and I'll do what it takes to get that strap.
Wait a minute, sucker! Did you see how Prichard's in pain? You had the nerve to stand out here to challenge him? Well, let me tell you something, you snot-nosed punk. I challenge you in the ring. Let me ask you something. Who have you beaten? Who have you beaten? Get in the ring. I challenge you.
Let me tell you something, Baldy. My daddy raised me better than that. He told me never to put my hands on a woman. I'm not going to wrestle you. This is a joke.
Oh, you one of those good boys, huh? Your daddy raised you right? I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Miss Texas, Tom he just smacked him right in the face, and Randy said he's not going to not hit a woman. Well, thank goodness Prichard got her, pulling her away. All right. I got them separated. Randy, all right?
Look, man, when you said you weren't going to defend that title, you pulled my heart out. But to humiliate me in front of millions of people by letting that bald-headed pig slap me, I'm about ready to forget you're a woman. You don't look like a woman to me, man.
What? What?
Ooh. Oh, goodness. Oh, no.
You see this woman abuser here?
Oh. Prichard claiming he was in no shape to wrestle, but he's just broken that ice bag over the head of...
And now both of them on top of...
Well, comes some help. Tony Anthony nails Prichard from behind.
Dirty white boy Tony Anthony to the rescue of Rockin Randy.
Look out, Embry in to help out Prichard. Wouldn't you know it? You see one, you see the other one.
And in the meantime, Rockin Randy locked up with Miss Texas. There's Embry and Prichard and Dirty White Boy. Referee Paul.
Now, she was rough on him the first time, but that second time after he called her a bald-headed pig, I swear, I don't read lips well, but it looked like Miss Texas turned to Tom Prichard and said, "Watch this," as he let her go, because she laid into him that second time. Oh, she wasn't taking no shit off old Weird Al there. Jacked him up pretty good. And then, of course, from there, it's another brawl amongst Embry, Prichard. But the whole time that Valiant and Prichard and Embry and everybody's fighting Dirty White Boy, she's over there just wailing on freaking Rockin Randy. What a segment.
I feel like there's some cases where people don't need mic time. Like, I like you before I see your promos, and then after I see your promo, that's all I can think of, and it's not good. Like, I thought, because of his demeanor and the look and stuff, maybe it was like Rob Zukowski and Pauly Shore somehow merged, like Station from Bill and Ted, and the acting skills was there. It was like, oh man, I'm so sore right now, but you Mrs. Texas. Like, it's so fucking bad. I didn't think he was that bad before. Like I said, I saw the promo, but man, maybe that's why she kicked him in the nuts, because it was so just horrible. She's like, I can do better than this. Bam. But he went from I respect women, my father raised me right,
to slapping shit.
To literally, he serial killer choked her at the end when Tom Prichard was pulling her off. Like, so I don't know, dude. I think he's lying.
His daddy beat his mom. We know he did. He's lying. I actually talked to Rockin Randy after I watched this.
Nice.
I had talked to him many years ago, and I reached out to him to ask him. I said, we just watched this segment I did in Miss Texas. Was she stiff? And he said, yes. And he has a very long story about this whole angle. And then when we get to the results, I'm going to make a note of something. But this will be the last time we've ever seen Rockin Randy, well, in 1991 on TV. And I'm going to probably interview him sometime this week, and we'll throw it up on the retro review after this.
Oh, that's good. I just fucking buried the shit out of
him. No,
him.
it's okay. It's okay. He's a young guy here. I think he had, best I could tell, he didn't have maybe 7 or 8 matches. Coming into this, he was trained by Ed Sharkey. So there is a possibility that I saw some of his first matches when I was in Minnesota. I've got to find those results, but really nice guy. But yeah, it should be a funny story. He said it's a long story. He didn't want to type it. So I can't wait to see. Miss Texas apparently maybe Miss Texas beat the hell out of him, or vice versa, and he had to leave the territory. We'll see.
Did he clarify the game?
I shot on her there in the Mid-South Coliseum, and that was it. Marlon told me to leave.
He says she was trained in judo. I didn't know that.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I learned that whenever I did that article on her here a few weeks ago. That was prominent in there. So did you get him to clarify the goon thing of who the goons were?
I did.
All right. Good.
I'll mention that in the results. It's his last match. He was the goon number 1.
Okay. Because there's been some controversy over who goon number 2 is, and I haven't been able to.
I'll ask him.
I hadn't been able to speak with Jamie to clarify if he's one. Because some people say he was one of them, and other people say that's not him. That it's Rockin Randy and Gary Valiant.
Yeah, I'll ask him because I really want to know. Training with Sharky is really something I want to talk about, but also with. He says it's a long story, but it's mainly going to just be this USWA story that we covered. So
I did like that he pointed out that, hey, I'm not Lawler or Jarrett. I don't get title shots all the time.
Right. Yeah.
The text like, who have you beat? Who have you beat? Good point, Miss Texas. We've never seen this dude before on TV. And now
first and last promo. There you go. What the hell?
It's like, well done, Miss Texas. So now Jerry Lawler comes out to address Christopher Love and the Dragon Master. He talks about how legitimately enormous the Dragon Master is and says that he really is 7'3". And Dave backs that up by saying, yeah, I'm 6 foot whatever. And he was taller than me. And I don't know. I figured Bert saying that about how promotions promise somebody's huge and they're not was almost a rib on Lawler, because Lawler like kind of almost laughs when he addresses it in the promo. Yeah, because he even kind of mentions it, but didn't go into it far. But I was just kind of amused by all that. I didn't clip this promo. There were a couple of amusing lines in there, but I thought I would just pitch it to y'all and see. Is there anything in this promo that stood out to y'all that we would need to mention before we move on?
I mean, nothing flashy or anything.
Yeah, he wasn't healing on the crowd this week, so that's all I wrote.
Yeah.
Lawler promo, not healing, so
no healing on the crowd, and he didn't allude to possibly burning him, so that was good. I think we go to that well way too often in these early 90s days here.
It's gonna get hot at Mid-South Coliseum, y'all.
It's gonna be a hot night down there Monday night, Dave. Oh, hot night. So next up, Reggie B. Fine has found Awesome Kong a tag team partner.
Oh God.
Called the Bruiser.
What the fuck?
Who looks like the Dragon Master just took his wrestling boots off, right?
Yeah.
Because he's tall.
So I went trying to find out who the Bruiser was, and cagematch.net, Wrestling Data, all these websites try to say that it's Vic the Bruiser. That's not Victor Lewis.
It is not Victor Lewis. No.
There's no chance in hell that is Victor Lewis.
He's way too big to be Victor Lewis.
Well, he's too tall and he's not round enough. And if you look around the eye holes of that mask, it appears to be a white guy. Although he's going out of his way to cover up every bit of his body, glove-wise and all that, similar to that Dr. Death character later that would be someone related to this whole thing. But let's take a look at I didn't get the whole match, but I just got a couple of clips here of the Bruiser just to see if this gives anything away, if you got any theories on who this is, and just to see that this probably ain't going to last. Is this Leatherface the most recent Leatherface in a different outfit, since we really don't know who this freaking guy is that they say was Leatherface when he was unmasked? This Johnny Rotten or whatever. Is this who that is? Because he is wrestling similar to him. Let's take a look at this short clip.
His partner today, Gary Scott. They're talking to referee Paul Neighbors as we came back on the air. They've got their work cut out for him today, Michael St. John. Here comes Reggie B. Fine leading the way, and a huge, Awesome Kong and the Bruiser headed for the ring area right here. This tag team match coming up here is going to be a one-fall match. 15 minutes will be the time limit. Reggie B. Fine with the instructions. And heaven knows what he's telling him right now, but I'm not sure Kong even listens to him as he climbs up on the ring.
And I'm going to show there's two little pretty boys y'all got them running around here. I'm going to give them a credit now. They've been champions. They've been champions for a long time. I'm talking about Robert Fuller and Jeff Jarrett. But y'all days is number, punk. I mean, y'all, that's what I think.
Big Freezer Thompson double teamed now by the Bruiser and Kong.
Hey, let me tell you something else, too. You think I done forgot about you, Jerry Lawler. You think I done forgot about you, brother. But when this big 7'3" giant, if anything left of you after he get through with you, baby, you belong to me. And I promise you that, punk, because I haven't forgot what you done to me.
Perhaps Reggie B. Fine a little chilled in the studio today.
Yeah. All right.
So it's either somebody going out of their way to wrestle as generically as possible, or they just don't know how to work. Now, I thought for a moment when he first walked out, I thought, could this be another gimmick of Mike Samples? But he's too tall. Mike Samples isn't taller than Reggie B. He's taller than Awesome Kong. Most people are, but he's not taller than Reggie B.
Whenever you said, was he one of the Leatherfaces, like immediately my mind goes to the one that was in the Mid-South Coliseum in the first match with the snakeskin cowboy boots. He has that build, real slender legs, but tall. Yeah. But who knows? But he's probably wrestling, like you say, trying to disguise who he is or whatever, you know.
The way he does those leg drops, I thought, hell, this could be Gaylord again, but I don't know if he's big enough to be Gaylord, so I don't think it's him. So I don't know. It's probably nobody we should know. You know,
probably
some rando. But anyway, they get the win. Yay! Old Gary Scott out here. I find it ironic that Gary Scott is on this show where there's so much Jimmy Valiant, he ends up being quote unquote Jimmy Valiant's son, the
Boogie
Boogie
Woogie
Woogie
boy.
boy. That's my Boogie Woogie boy right there. Next up, well, I'm not even going to tease this or even try to describe it. Let's just watch this and then talk about it on the other side.
All right, headed this way right now is Humongous. Now, we've seen Humongous here in the USWA. We have not really had much chance to talk to him, but as he heads this way, we would like just to take maybe a moment and have him say hi and greet the fans. Humongous.
Yeah, how you doing, Dave? First of all, I just arrived at USWA a short time ago. I've traveled all over the world wrestling, and I just want to say that the mid-sized people are the best fans of all, especially the kids.
All right, watch her. Samantha, I don't think we need you out here. Well, make sure you don't.
I'm out here just to meet Humongous. That's the only reason I came out here. Okay, I don't want any trouble.
Okay, don't start any.
Oh, these arms. Don't you think he has the most sexy arms you've ever seen? Look at these thighs. You have got to have the best body in wrestling today. Turn around. Just turn around.
Come on.
Look at this. You have got to have the best body I've ever seen. You and me together, we could be good. Don't you think?
You're Bull Payne's woman. I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want to cause no problem.
No.
I'm here to
No
wrestle.
trouble. No trouble. I could be your woman. I could be. Please. Just let me kiss you. Come on, just let me kiss your lips. Come on.
Well, that is trying to get that mask off. Yeah.
He's trying to do.
Oh, look out!
Look out, look out!
Bull Payne running in from outside. She's got the mask off of him, too. Samantha out here.
Bull Payne going to work now. Wait a minute. I recognize that face, Dave.
Is that He-Man Randy Lewis?
I think it is. It is He-Man Randy Lewis.
Goodness.
But right now, Bull Payne just going to work on...
Look out.
On Randy Lewis. Payne just, obviously, this was a setup.
Gotta be, because obviously Payne sent her out here just to get that mask off. There's no doubt about it.
Look at me, boy! Look at me!
That's who that is. That's
Randy Lewis. That's He-Man Randy Lewis is who that is. He's humiliating him. Look out!
Oh!
Whoa! There's one for Bull Payne. There's another one. Now Samantha jumping on the back of He-Man Randy Lewis.
Here comes some help. Jeff Jarrett, Robert Fuller. And Bull Payne finally gets...
Good God.
In what may have been the most uncomfortable segment we've ever watched so far on these USWA shows, I feel like they just told Samantha, like, hey, go out there and just reenact the way you got into the business. Okay. Remember how you got in? Just go do that to Humongous here. And talk about being late to the party. Like, Bull Payne should have been there like a good 20 seconds sooner than what he did. That got really awkward while they were waiting for him to jump in from behind. My favorite part of this, though, and they've acknowledged it in the newsletters too, is the fact that, hey, Dave, I recognize that guy's face. Is that He-Man Randy Lewis? Like, anybody knows who the fuck Randy He-Man Lewis is. Like it's anybody that anybody would know besides those two. Freaking hilarious. What do you guys think about this? All I could say was thank God they got the mask off on him. But what a weird, awkward way to get it done.
Oh, yeah. It was extremely funny, though, as she's trying to turn him around. So she grabs the mask and she starts spinning, and he does that, and he grabs her by the hair, and they spin together. It got weird. Yeah, he should have been out there a little sooner, but God, he got the power of the rat tail. in the middle when he was getting beat and hulked up on him. You know, like, God, I didn't notice that rat tail was that long. That's halfway down his back.
Did I ever tell y'all my first girlfriend had a rat tail?
Longer than
He just
Randy
like
Lewis?
Randy He-Man Lewis.
No, it was longer than that. It went all the way to her ass crack. So there you go.
Wow. What do you even say to that? Yeah, some of those noises he's making got kind of awkward. I'm like, did he just finish? Like, what happened? Like, what's happening right now? Like, he acted like that was the first time a woman had laid hands on him in his entire life.
And he couldn't decide if he was repulsed or turned on.
Exactly. Like, you're bull pains, woman. This ain't right. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I'm thinking like this has happened probably in hotel rooms all over Memphis. Like, like I'm sure this is just reenactment. Like, you know what you're doing. Just go out there and just do what feels right. And she's like, I got this. We got it.
Dundee's like, I'm gonna have to take this on tour, brother.
Oh,
hey,
boy.
I like Samantha. I like that big booty now. I always was a fan of Samantha. So sorry, Bull. I did, you know.
Oh, he mad about it now. I seen him put a post the other day. It was a picture of the two of them.
Oh, okay.
He went on her pretty hard. So apparently that was not a. It was a bit of an ugly breakup, I'm assuming.
There you go.
But,
I still want to try to get him on the podcast.
Yeah, that would be great.
Talk about Texas Hangman and talk about this time in Memphis.
So we've gotten the mask off of Humongous, thank goodness, because boy, that was a shitty experiment, and they're pretty much making fun of it on the same show with their other Dragon Master gimmick. So it's just very strange. Then we hear about the upcoming house show matches. We hear from Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller. I didn't clip the promo because I think you guys can kind of guess how that went. Handsome Jimmy comes out with one big last push for Jonesboro that night. And then we go to this week's Bill Dundee, Danny Davis segment. Now, I've got some screenshots here of, here's Bill with the Elton John glasses and the belt.
And what looks like a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu logo.
It does. It does. I don't know how he traveled in time and took that back to 91. Then here comes cool guy Danny Davis comes out. He's cool, Uncle Danny, this week. Look at that, buddy.
Man, can you imagine him pulling up at the studio in that fucking IROC Z with the 350 under the hood and those fucking glasses and that mullet? God, you want to be that guy.
The 80s were alive and well when he pulled up in that IROC with that get up on right there.
I love it. Love it. Look at that. Look at that. Oh.
Look at that vest. We all know who made that vest for him. He's rocking it.
She's like, why do you want the sequins around the rim? Oh, just trying to be different.
So I didn't clip this one because it was kind of anticlimactic based on the last couple of weeks. We're building to another match, but Dundee's he's cooling it back down now. He's like, well, I told you what I was going to do and I did it. And whoever's going to win is going to win. And Dave's like, now I've still got scars from the last couple of confrontations. Let's not have any trouble out here. And Dundee's like, I don't want to be in any trouble because I'm fucking off. And he just leaves. And then Danny's out here left in his cool guy glasses just to cut a promo on him and promise that he's going to take the belt back this week. Because whoever wins the belt, guys, they get to go on this tour of Japan. And, it's got to be touch and go with this belt switching hands each week because there's a lot of preparation that goes into taking a trip to Japan. You got to have passports, plane tickets in advance. All this has got to be booked out. So, boy, them Japanese promoters are really sweating this out to see who this belt lands on in the end here to figure out who's actually going to show up when that plane lands in Japan in a couple of weeks.
But I love, the psychology behind this the way Bill Dundee specifically is in this situation. He's cool as a cucumber almost whenever he has the belt. And he's fucking over the top, angry, wanting to start fights and everything else when he doesn't have the belt in the suit. I like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter how Dundee acts in the situation. The fans love him no matter what.
That's a great point that we haven't pointed out here, that yes, that his attitude has varied whether he was champion or challenger each week. And and even Uncle Danny as challenger has been more aggressive the weeks that he doesn't have the belt. I absolutely love last week because, Uncle Danny has the belt and he's a little full of himself. And he's like, "Are we still friends?" And Dundee just comes out and clocks him in the mouth. That was tremendous. But the good thing they're doing here, as I feel like we're probably starting to wind this down since it's going to resolve itself because somebody's going to Japan with the belt. We don't want either one of these guys to come out of this thing a heel. Right. So we're taking the heat off of it where it's still an interesting match. The belt's still at stake. There's still stakes, but let's come out of this where they actually can still be friends. And now we don't have a heel Dundee on our hands or a heel Danny Davis on our hands. So it's really smart. It's kind of like it would kind of be, I'm not saying they watched this angle and mimicked it, but years later with the Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels thing at SummerSlam, where Shawn went pretty heavy heel there for a few weeks. And then when it was over, poof, he's right back to babyface Shawn and everything's, status quo again. That's kind of, I feel like that's where we're going with this, but we'll see. I may be wrong. Somebody may go full blown heel before this is done, but that's pretty much the show. We get a recap there at the end of everything that we've seen. And then, we're going to take a look at the card for Monday night. But before that, you know how this works. We got to take a quick podcast commercial break. And when we return, we'll see what all this has been leading to.
Hey guys, Ray Russell here. Lots of new stuff happening here at WrestleCopia. If you haven't checked out our website at WrestleCopia.com, it's a great way to keep up with the latest episodes of all of your favorite Copia programming, from the Wrestling Memory Grenade to Regional Wrestling with the Territory Talk, the Wrestling Stoop with the legendary Bob Roop, and of course all of those programs also available at your favorite podcast streaming platforms. And if you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the Copia world, all the latest news, random thoughts, fun videos, pictures, and more, make sure to join the more than 33,000 followers over at Facebook.com/Wrestling Grenade. Don't be left out. And last but definitely not least, it's what keeps the entire machine going. I'm talking about Patreon.com/WrestleCopia. We appreciate your support in helping us pay the bills to keep the WrestleCopia Podcast Network running and enabling us to continue to bring you all the quality programming that we offer.
Tired of the same boring wrestling podcast? Need something with attitude, chaos, and maybe just a little cussing? That's STSPod.club, and we got it all covered. We've got wrestling weirdness with WTF News Desk, 5-minute time limit, and the Southern Fried Brain of me, BT, steering the whole ship. We also have Rolling into Mempho every week about the current Memphis wrestling. Interviews, hot takes, and wrestling outrageousness so wild it might get you banned in 12 states. That's right, it's SDSPod.club, or search all podcast catchers for Shooting the Shiznit, where wrestling podcasts grow chest hair. Not sure what that meant. Love my mama.
Memphis wrestling changed in 1998, and now we're going back to relive it all. Gene Jackson, Rob Helt, and Brian Trammell are launching the brand new Retro Wrestling Review Power Pro Wrestling podcast, and they're watching and reviewing the entire run of TV5 Memphis Power Pro Wrestling from 1998 to 2001, every twist, every turn, every wild main event. From the debut episode to the final broadcast, they're reliving it all. New episodes drop on YouTube and all podcast platforms every Saturday morning, with early access exclusively on Patreon. And it all premieres Saturday, April 18th, 2026, exactly 28 years to the day Power Pro first hit TV5 in 1998. Power Pro is back. Well, sort of. Follow us over at Facebook.com/Retro Wrestling Review and follow along with us. We'd love to hear your thoughts as well.
All right, let's see what the matches are going to be for Monday night, and then we'll hear what you guys thought about this show.
Start with the opening part of it here. All right, 8 o'clock is when it is Monday night. Mid-South Coliseum, back home at the Mid-South Coliseum. Bull Payne and Samantha will be going against Humongous in the opening match. Then MC Slammer goes against Dr. Tom Prichard in another single match. The World Light Heavyweight title on the line. As we've said earlier, these two have been going at each other. This, I guarantee you, will be some kind of match to see. It always is. And when Bill Dundee steps in there against Danny Davis. Then the World Tag titles on the line. Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller. They've got the belts. They have defended them against all the people who were coming at them, and boy, the size of these guys coming at them. Awesome Kong and Bruiser with Reggie B. Fine in the corner. The belts are on the line. The world title is on the line, too. The Dragon Master, 7'3", says Christopher Love, and believe it, because he towers over me, as I was saying. You don't realize how huge this guy is until you stand right next to him, and you look way up, and there is the Dragon Master. That's who will be going against the King. The world title will be on the line. Then it's going to be a match in which Eric Embry and Dr. Tom Prichard will both have to get in the ring now to go against Dirty White Boy and handsome Jimmy Valiant. What a match.
There's already been a couple of run-ins regarding these folks and to get them in the ring for a match in this main event.
All right, well, there's the card, so let's talk about it, guys. What was your least favorite part of today's show?
You know, you talk about going heel, and you know, I'm not taking the subtle approach in this. I'm going full heel now. I am tired of Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller. They played that fucking promo video for a third time.
I forgot to mention that.
I have walked out of Memphis. I would rather walk out of Memphis on foot back home to Jackson than watch that fucking video one more time. I'm so sick of this now. Them facing fucking jabronis every goddamn week. There's no legitimate challengers. And, you know, they're not doing anything to further it. They're just kind of being the same. I'm done with it.
Me too.
Wow. Least favorite's got to be Lord Humongous and all that horse shit that happened with Randy Lewis. I kind of think that the thing with the Dragon Master was kind of bad too, but I think that was the worst part. My least favorite is going to be, and I hate it because I'm a big fan of Bull Payne and Samantha. So horrible.
Yeah, this is the first one in a few weeks where there was like 3 or 4 different segments. I struggled with which one I liked least. And then I also always struggle with, am I coming at this as, do I like or dislike this for a podcast, or do I like or dislike this as what it actually comes off as a wrestling show? The Humongous segment was awful on every level. So as a guy who's watching a wrestling show for, you know, entertainment value, that was just the shits. Now, as a guy doing a podcast and a guy watching it in 1991, I'm on board with being sick and tired of Fuller and Jarrett. And these manufactured, just it's inconsequential characters like the Bruiser and the Goons and shit that we're just pulling out so that Jarrett and Fuller have somebody to beat until we can come up with a decent tag team. And, you know, 2 weeks ago, Awesome Kong's beating Lawler for the title. Now he's part of some nothing tag team. Bert Prentice is here, so now Reggie B gets kicked back down the card. And honestly, like, from a fun perspective, yes, the Bert Prentice Dragon Master stuff is fun for us to watch and talk about and to do impressions of. Now, real entertainment for your average wrestling fan, if I have a friend who's like, hey man, I've just really started getting into Memphis, what's some good stuff I can watch that'll be good? I can't with a clear conscience recommend, oh, hey, watch the Dragon Master shit. It's awesome. No, it's not, but it's entertaining, but it's not good. And in 91, I don't know. I didn't have the same perspective I have now. I don't know that I would have bought a ticket for that, but that's a different question. So I'll save that till we get there. But final answer, Regis, would be that Lord Humongous shit is awful. He never should have been Lord Humongous. And then for this to have to be the way that we have to get the mask off of him, and then we got to act like Dave and Michael St. John know who the fuck Randy He-Man Lewis is, and we're supposed to give a shit, and poor Samantha can't act to save her life. It was like a bad soap opera. Whew. So now, you need to quit talking about Samantha now. That's my girl there. Well, that's fine. You can You can have her. Many people have. So, most favorite part of this episode.
I do love the whole Bert Prentice thing, his promo and unveiling the big black box and, making the Scorpions be his servants and stuff. I love that part, but God, the Handsome Jimmy stuff was just off the chart entertaining. He came out, stole 2 people's hats. He kissed like 5 different people, women and men in the audience, and nobody scoffed. He tried to get sugar from both Dave Brown and Michael St. John. Dave proved what he would do in, simulated grappling whenever he totally defended Sugar. He did not get kissed at all. And Jimmy Valiant, he's a veteran kiss taker. So, but that was just, I don't know how many, 5 minutes of pure gold.
I got to go right with what Josh said. It's a boogie woogie, man. I love that stuff, man. I always loved Jimmy Valiant. I hated when he was one of those guys when I started reading dirt sheets that they, him, Dusty, and Hogan, they would shit on all the time. But, man, I always loved the act. I loved the whole – I know he wrestled Paul Jones a gazillion times and all that stuff, but I just loved it. And I love being the few shows that I was on, and I know Gene wrestled him, being on a show with Handsome Jimmy Valiant just made me feel like I was a little bit more important. Because I had grew up, and I have a story about a tattoo, a Handsome Jimmy tattoo that I drew when I was in 6th grade. It was perfect. And the librarian asked me, "Who is that on your arm?" And I was appalled. I said, "It's Jimmy Valiant." And she said, "What does he look like?" I said, "He looks just like that. Just like the yep." Gene pointing to my arm, and
that might as well be a Polaroid on my arm right now. That is him, son.
I've really thought about getting a Valiant tattoo in tribute to that. I may do that one day. So
get him on your stomach with "Come to Papa" right under it, like the one.
Good God!
Come to party. I mean,
Dave's like, wait a minute, "Come to Papa." Man, it really, I don't know though. It really shows what a double standard there was even back in 1991, because Jimmy Valiant can come into the studio and he can kiss 5 men and a woman, and everybody claps and cheers and thinks it's great. But if Bert Prentice would have come out there and kissed 5 men and a woman, it would have been a fucking problem. So I don't like that. Back then, I would have loved this whole Jimmy Valiant thing. Now I'm just kind of like, "Whew, man, this is rough.
I love it. I still love it."
I mean, one segment, but God, he was out there a lot, like a whole lot. And I'm sorry if I'm going off pure entertainment value. Miss Texas kicking Rockin Randy in the nuts.
Kicking his shit out of Rockin Randy.
And then just beating the hell out of him. After asking him, "Who you beat? Who have you beat?" And he didn't have an answer because he hadn't beat anybody. So good stuff. But anyway, now it's the final answer, and I'm interested in hearing this one. Would you buy a ticket to this week's card?
I do love Jimmy Valiant, and I want to see Uncle Danny and Bill Dundee, the saga, but I'm not sure I'm begging to go because they've turned it into a tag team main event where you've got 2 different stories clashing, and you're just kind of throwing it into a stew pot, So I'm not sure I'm going to be like just begging my mom to take me down to Mid-South Coliseum this week.
I'm the same way. I was excited about Valiant being there. Don't know if that's going to draw that and Davis and Dundee are the only things that interest me about the card. So I don't know if I didn't have school the next day, I'd probably go.
The thing about kind of like what you pointed out there, Josh, is like, this has been a pretty heated, hard-hitting feud between Dirty White Boy and Prichard, and even where Embry falls into it. And as much as even back then, as much as I might be a fan of Jimmy Valiant, I know he's not going to be involved in some like heavy duty street fight. Like, you know, he may hit them with a bunch of stuff. They're not going to hit him. So I don't know. It doesn't feel like a good fit. I feel like you could have worked him into something else and put somebody a little more appropriate into this tag match. I'm the same way. In 1991, as a kid, I'm not turning down any wrestling show, but I'm not going to use my allowance or go pull any strings to try to get to go to this wrestling show. And I meant to mention earlier in my favorites and least favorites, I was super bummed out that we didn't get another rap from MC Slammer this week. I wanted to see if he could make up for that turd of a rap that he had last week, because my God, that was awful. I think that's probably why he wasn't on TV this week. Maybe I'm wrong, but there's my answer. So BT, take it away. Let's hear how all this played out.
All right, I got some results from all around. This is fun stuff from the Observer. The night before this TV tapings, Brian Trammell and J.D. McKay's Ringside Riot Promotions drew 200 people in Louisville, Mississippi, $936 gate. BT Express beat Jack Diamond by forfeit. J.D. McKay beat BT Express. We had Scott Armstrong on the card. And in the main event, the Bullet and Scott Armstrong beat Ken Wayne and Doug Gilbert on top. Then we go Saturday.
Hey, before you go on, I got to ask one question. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
All right.
Please tell me when BT Express beat Jack Diamond by forfeit, even though this hadn't happened yet, that you celebrated like freaking Kurt Angle had just won a gold medal. Like, I hope you jumped on the second rope and pumped your fist and was like psyched that you won by forfeit.
That
BT Express won by forfeit.
I did. I jumped up and down. I don't remember. I do remember the part where I took the microphone, I made them count so that I would win against Jack Diamond, and then I talked about I called it Louisville, Mississippi, to piss everybody off, so the fans would say, Louisville, it's Louisville. And I challenged anybody from Louisville, Mississippi that could wrestle, and JD was the manager of the Bumpers at the time. And so he was over there in Louisville, and I let him beat me in like 10 seconds. 10 seconds. So
I love that you say that the fact that he was manager of the Bumpers is what made him over. Like,
and hey, this show I picked up a rat at Bumpers, so that was pretty good. I mean, within minutes of being in Louisville, I picked up a rat. So can't beat that. The next night they were in Pontotoc. They only drew 104 people. Eddie and Doug Gilbert beat Terry Bronson and Skandar Akbar Jr. Because the Bullet and Scott Armstrong decided that they weren't going to stay for this show. I had already left too because my dad was sick, so I only worked one show. And Eddie Gilbert won the main event, which was a battle royal. All right, that was on Saturday night.
So it didn't draw because BT Express and the Armstrongs wasn't theirs.
Well, that's probably it. Me leaving, they didn't make any money in Pontotoc. So there's a whole big story about one wrestler still in a VCR because he didn't get paid. Sarge O'Reilly, kayfabe. And then then on Monday night we had Bullpen beat Randy Lewis. MC Slammer beat Goon number 1. Dundee beat Davis to keep the lightweight title. Rockin Randy beat Miss Texas in a man versus woman to win the intergender title, is what they're saying. I did not know that was mentioned or not. Jarrett and Fuller beat Awesome Kong and the Bruiser by DQ. Why by DQ?
DQ.
Dragon Master beat Lawler to win the title. And Embry and Prichard beat Valiant and Anthony. All right, that's Monday night. Tuesday night in Louisville, Kentucky, Bullpen beat Rockin Randy. Tom Prichard beat Lord Humongous. Bill Dundee beat Danny Davis. Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller beat Awesome Kong. So pretty much the same results. Eric Embry against Jimmy Valiant went to double countout, and Lawler beat Dragon Master. This would be... Since it was the bicycle, this will be a week behind on the other shows in Louisville. And then Thursday night in Humboldt, Tennessee, Leatherface defeated Randy Lewis. Now, what a hell of a match there. Bill Dundee beat Danny Davis. Eric Embry beat Dirty White Boy. Jeff Jarrett, Robert Fuller beat the Goon number 1 in Leatherface. And I believe that was Rockin' Randy's last match with USWA. And Jimmy Valiant was there. Him and Tom Prichard went to a double countout. Meltzer says that the crowds have been up since the move to the Mid-South Coliseum, with some weeks being in the 2,000 range.
Damn.
Which is pretty good. Also noted, and you can talk about this, Gene, is Eddie Gilbert's also suspected to start working for a rival promotion in Memphis called Central All-Star Wrestling that will be running Thursday night shows at the Pipkin Building in Memphis. I don't know anything about that. What do you know anything about that?
Well, speaking of, I found in the Torch.
All right.
They're calling it American Wrestling Federation, but it says August 29th at the Pipkin Building may feature the debut of a competing promotion to the USWA with Eddie Gilbert versus the Snowman on top.
Oh, wow.
Plus Willie B. Hurt, which is Pez Watley, Bam Bam Bigelow, Austin Idol, Jimmy Valiant, Don Bass, Ken Wayne, Joe Magliano, a.k.a. Joey Mags, Tommy Lane of the Rock and Roll RPMs, Chris Champion, and Doug Gilbert, American Wrestling Federation. Now, I didn't clip it, but the following week, what made me go back and find this, I looked at the week after this first, and it said, well, that startup promotion that was going to run the Pipkin Building has already fizzled out before it ever got started. Right. And then I went back and found this where it said that, and you can see, if you look behind it, you can see where I pulled it out from the main article there. So this clip's right on cue there. So, yeah, there you go. It was going to be a rival promotion. You know, it's not like USWA was setting the world on fire. So let's split the audience and go run a rival promotion.
Yeah.
That didn't work out. So there you have it. So I'm guessing goon number one that wrestled MC Slammer was Rockin Randy, who then had a quick change to go defeat Miss Texas to become I saw that in the newsletter that it said intergender champion. I was like, there was no mention of that on TV at all. That might have been something they did at the Coliseum. You know, maybe they did mention it there, but it wasn't.
I really hope Randy actually talks with me, because it could be an interesting story. It sounds like it anyway, because that was his last week in the business. Well, last week in USWA.
Well, how many people get to go out a champion, right? I mean, if he won the USWA intergender title and then left, he's still the champion now. He could defend that thing on local indie shows if he chose to, although I don't know why he would. All right, well, let's that gets us through this week. We have a new unified world heavyweight champion, and folks, if you check out the post show Hot Mics, I can guarantee you we are going to get a word from Honey Love and see what he has to say about his man winning the unified title from Jerry Lawler right there to Mid-South Coliseum. So you want to make sure you join us for that. But before we go, we've got to take a look at a few things here. STSpod.club, what's going on this week?
All right. As everybody knows, we do Shiznit Minute every day about the current wrestling scene. Friday it was Thursday on the feed. We had Rob Helt in 304 Studios. It was actually in the studio. We recorded it in February. Fun interview.
And where's that studio?
304 in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
There it is.
We had Rolling into Mempho. By the way, Rolling into Mempho. Wonder where I got that at. Valiant fan. Bosby against Dolph Ziggler was the main event. Good show. Good match. This coming week, it's if I don't talk to Randy, I'm not doing anything but some Patreon stuff. So it's considered a light week at STSpod.club.
All right, and that takes us on over to the P3 Shiznit Minute. Smokey, start the timer.
Let me get started. 3.5 out of 5 hoops. There you go. Episode 449, ADD. They talked a little bit about lemon juice and sweet tea. Homeless people in their depression. That was kind of weird. Memories of Western sizzling, baked beans, Armageddon. Josh kept interrupting Richard. Since his breakdown, Richard thinks nothing is real. Josh lost his dickhead at one time when he was a kid. I might have heard that wrong. I'm not sure. Richard is sick again, and he fat shames his daughter by calling her Piglet. I'm just telling y'all what's on here. Josh wore an Eric Embry singlet to school one time. Richard fell in love with Steel Panther. Richard believes nothing that Josh has to say. He has to Google everything. And it made Richard a Bible wine expert after he was done. Richard made an AI song for the love of Josh. Oh, that's it. That's it.
Okay. Well, so I haven't even told the guys this. This will be news to Josh. So I had to discontinue the feed of P3 Radio to the Retro Wrestling Archive because I have 2 copyright strikes right now. And one more will take down the channel. And that goddamn Steel Panther got us another fucking warning.
Oh, good.
And every single week, music is getting me hit with warnings. I'm fixing to have to pull some BT stuff too because a lot of that old shit's got all kind. There was one the other day got completely blocked because it had an AC/DC song or some shit on there. But I can't just delete one episode. I have to just cut the feed. So I had to cut the feed. Once I get out from under these copyright strikes in 90 days, we can look at bringing it back. But every week they'll play songs, and I'm like, it popped up today. I was like, man, I can't lose my whole goddamn channel because Richard wants to play fucking Steel Panther or Rat or some shit. So
I don't blame you.
That's where we're at on that, guys.
It's some of those first episodes, but then we got turned in. It wasn't even YouTube. It was somebody kept turning us in for SoundCloud that we were using songs, and I was so mad because Richard and Josh were always using the songs on SoundCloud and not getting any. And they took like 12 episodes out, and so then I started using.
I seen who was reporting you. Their username was RHJB ARC, and I don't know. I don't know who that could be.
He's using your songs. I hope y'all know it. He's using. He uses songs and he insults people's matches.
Hello.
Allegedly, it was Brian Last in his army of people. So
I could see the phone call. Hello, ACDC. This is I need to speak with Bon Scott. I got somebody stealing his music. A guy named Lance called and told me to report, and that's what I'm doing. That's not right.
Oh boy, there it is. That's the one right there. RetroWrestlingArchive.club. That's where you can find everything related to all of my stuff. You can find links to all the podcasts, the merch store with the t-shirts, including the Smokey's Driving School. The parody of Toonces is pretty fun. We've sold a few of them already, including the one my wife wears around now. Plus, you can find links to the YouTube channel, the Patreon, all kinds of great stuff over at RetroWrestlingArchive.club. And I'll go ahead and mention them by name, even though they're included there. But you also can find Patreon.com/RetroWrestlingArchive. That is my Patreon. Or Patreon.com/ShootingTheShiznit. That is BT's Patreon. And they're so modestly priced, you could easily afford to subscribe to both. Because, yes, we do share some content. We both each have our own unique content that you can't find anywhere else. So we sure would appreciate it if you would give us a try at least. If you subscribe and it's not your thing, no hard feelings. We won't harass you on the internet, or at least I won't. All right, so there we go, folks. That's going to do it for this week. Is there anything else on your mind before we wrap this one up and head on over to Patreon so we can track down Christopher Honeylove?
I do want to say that we had an appearance of Guy Coffey on the show, which always makes me smile. And that was the first video appearance of Bert Prentice on Memphis Wrestling. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love my mama.
Josh?
I love my mom as well.
And I love both their mamas. And we'll see you next week for another episode of Retro. I don't mean that in any kind of inappropriate way. They just seem like wonderful ladies. That's all I'm saying. And we'll see you next week for more Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast.
If you love old school wrestling, the Retro Wrestling Archive Patreon is where the real treasure is. Get early access to all your favorite Retro Wrestling Archive podcasts and articles before they hit the public feed. Unlock exclusive Patreon-only shows, watch-along videos, and bonus content you won't find anywhere else. And coming soon, the Retro Wrestling Archive Google Drive is expanding in a big way with even more classic wrestling footage, rare media, and archival material for true wrestling history fans. If you're serious about preserving the history of the territories, this is where you belong. Join the Retro Wrestling Archive Patreon today and step inside the archive.
Step back into the wildest territory you forgot you loved. Join Gene Jackson and Rob Helt on the Retro Wrestling Review Continental Wrestling Podcast as they watch every available episode of Continental Wrestling Television. From the explosive beginning in 1985, all the way through the final bell in 1989. Watch along with us exclusively on the Retro Wrestling Archive Patreon, where the full video experience lives. Is listening your preference? The audio version drops everywhere you get podcasts, plus YouTube and Substack. Rediscover the stars, the chaos, and the magic of Continental Wrestling one episode at a time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Sheik, Jared, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise. This team does it all, and all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.